What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Evan, and I make videos showing you guys different ways to make money in the stock market. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Now, in today's video, we're going to go over if NIO is going to continue dropping like they have been the last week or so, or whether they can continue with this upwards momentum that they've had the last few months and continue that throughout 2021. But before we actually jump into the video, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys enjoy these video updates every day. So again, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it. But to give you guys some context of where NIO's been at, obviously we know that the market is closed today because of MLK Day, but when we look at where NIO was at and where they closed on Friday, they closed at 56.18 in after hours, and they were actually down about 8% almost at 7.5% throughout the day. And there's been a few reasons as to why NIO has been pulling back the last couple days of trading, and so I'll discuss that as well in case you guys haven't been keeping up super close on NIO. But to give you a better idea, when we look at the actual 1 week chart, this is where you can see how NIO has been reacting lately. And they're actually down 13.5% on the 1 week chart. And again, you can see it's been a consistent downwards trend, and there's really been no green. Now, they started off the last week of trading relatively flat, but you can still see it's been a consistent downwards trend. And again, there's been really no hope for this week being green, or at least this last week of trading. Now, with the market opening tomorrow, after all this negative news that we've seen that's pulled NIO's share price down, I think we could see NIO rebound from where they've been. And with this pullback, I think NIO should kind of bounce back up, and they could be trading a couple dollars higher after recovering tomorrow. Because again, if you guys don't know, there was a couple negative things that came out that has been pulling NIO's share price down. And one of the big things that's been pulling NIO back was that one of NIO's co-founders, Jack Cheng, he actually left NIO, and he left NIO back in 2019, and not many people are aware of that. But even though he left NIO back in 2019, recently he got signed as CEO of a different company, and this company is Foxconn Technologies. Now, Foxconn also is partnered with Apple, and so there is a lot of investors worried that this Jack Cheng guy is going to give NIO a lot of competition because he's worked with NIO, and he was likely one of the driving factors to push NIO to where they're at today. Now, you could argue that he didn't really change things too much because he left back in 2019, and we've seen NIO and all their growth has happened in 2020 alone. But he was still one of those original co-founders with William Li, but they both worked together to get NIO on their feet. And even though William Li, who's been the CEO since then, he's taken NIO to all-time highs, and we've seen NIO consistently generate this upwards trend. But again, that's just one of those concerns that Jack Cheng is going to give NIO a run for their money since he's worked for NIO in the past. Now, he was also an executive at Ford Motor Company, so he's been in the automotive business pretty much all his career. But at least in my eyes, I don't think this is really going to be a concern, and I think within a couple weeks or at least a couple months, people are going to forget about this, and maybe even in the next couple days, and NIO is going to recover and start continuing upwards. Now, the other thing that's been possibly pulling NIO back, other than the overall market being down kind of towards the end of last week, is that there was another lockdown in China, and this affected about 22 million people, and they're now on lockdown, or at least that's kind of the rumor that's going around. And so that makes a lot of investors worried whether they can trust NIO if a lot of Chinese people can't even trust that their government is giving them true facts about what's happening. But now for what you guys came for, and this is whether NIO is going to continue with this momentum into 2021 and through the end of 2021. Now, of course, we know that NIO gained about 1,600% in the past year relative to the S&P 500, and they've been a huge winner in the electric vehicle sector, let alone the entire stock market. And they've also had bigger gains than Tesla recently, and just in the last month, they've had a 50% increase in their price. And it's not really seeming like NIO is showing any signs of slowing down. Now, to bet on NIO and where they're going to be in this next year of trading, obviously it's hard to put a prediction on a company like NIO, given how small they are relative to other auto manufacturers. Now, of course, they are one of the bigger companies in the world now in terms of market cap, but when you look at the amount of vehicles that they're delivering, both on a monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis, they're really nothing as compared to these big top auto manufacturers. And so again, it does make it hard to predict where they're going to be, especially considering that they're not yet profitable. And there's these other companies like GM and soon to be Toyota that NIO has been surpassing, and these other companies are producing millions of cars as compared to NIO putting out about 50 to 60,000 per year. Now, of course, NIO did deliver 17,353 vehicles in quarter 4, and this did represent a 111% increase year over year. And then just in December, they delivered over 7,000 vehicles, which again was a new monthly delivery record. And so they are increasing deliveries every month. But to compare them to these top auto manufacturers, whether they're producing gas-powered vehicles as compared to NIO's electric vehicles, it really shows you how far NIO has to go in order to actually validate their market cap and what they're trading for. But referring to where NIO is going to be in the next year, while I do think they're going to be way beyond what they're trading for right now, it's hard to pinpoint an exact price just because we've seen these astronomical gains even within 1 month. NIO can shoot up as much as like 50 to 100% in 1 month, or they can drop down 20, 30, or 40%. So I think it's all dependent on what the market is going to value NIO at and what these investors think NIO is valued at. Because if all of a sudden people decide that NIO is way overvalued, well, there's going to be short sellers and there's going to be people securing profits, and NIO could drop like a rock. Now, NIO does have a lot going for them in the next year and the next coming years. And one of the things that NIO did recently was that they offered senior convertible notes. And this again was to beef up their cash position. And they're currently at about $3.3 billion in cash. Now, not too long ago, they also sold about 68 million shares at about $39 per share. So they're definitely making these money moves that are going to help them in the future and should really help beef up production, and therefore that's going to put out more vehicles and get more customers on board with buying NIO vehicles. And so it's not like they're just some company that's figuring it out as they go. They have a very solid business plan, and they also have highly advancing technologies. For example, their ET7 that they unveiled on NIO Day. And if you guys didn't pay attention to NIO Day, there was quite a few important announcements. There was also a big announcement of NIO partnering with NVIDIA to help improve their self-driving technology. But in terms of their ET7, it's going to start at about $69,000, and it can go down to about $58,000 if you opt for the company's battery as a service program. But things like this are what's going to help drive NIO ahead and help drive up their share price a drastic amount like we've seen in 2020. Now, there's expectations that this ET7 is going to have a range of about 1,000 kilometers or about 620 miles on a single charge. So with something like that, putting NIO on top of a lot of other electric vehicle manufacturers and showing that they have an electric vehicle with probably the longest range out of any electric vehicle on the market, not only does that increase individual investor interest, but that also puts NIO on the watch list of a lot of big funds because they see where NIO is going in the future. And this is why we've seen a lot of these analysts upgrade their price target so consistently. They know that NIO is striving for success, and they're putting out these technologies that are increasing at such a rapid rate that they're going to be catching up with these larger companies. For example, a company like Tesla. Again, I've said in the past that I think NIO could catch up to Tesla at some point in the near future. Now, whether that's in a couple of years or 5 to 10 years, I think in the broad scheme of things, that's a relatively short time period. But it's definitely something to keep in mind, especially when we look at how young NIO is in comparison to these other auto manufacturers. And I'll just give you one other example showing you how advancing NIO is. And this is their battery pack technology, because just in November, NIO released their 100 kilowatt hour battery. And this was a huge upgrade from their 70 and 84 kilowatt hour battery pack. And it allowed previous customers to upgrade to a 100 kilowatt hour battery. And now at their NIO Day event, they officially unveiled the 150 kilowatt hour battery pack. And this is also going to be standard on board with their ET7. And this isn't exclusive just to their battery packs, but this shows you as a whole how NIO has been advancing. And it's not just dependent on their battery pack. All of their technologies, even when we look at their self-driving, they're already trying to get approved for level 4 and level 5 autonomy, and that would allow their vehicles to be pretty much full self-driving. And they're also working on getting out robo-taxis in a partnership with Intel. Now, in terms of where NIO could be at the end of 2021, like I've mentioned before, I think they could be right around $100. And when you look at the price analysts, I believe the highest price prediction right now from an analyst is right around $100. And of course, that's for the next 12 months. So that would be around the beginning of 2022. Now, most price targets right now are between that $70 and $75 range. And again, that's for 12 months into the future. And even if NIO only increased from about 55 where they're trading right now up to 70 or 75, that's still nearly a 50% increase in the next 12 months. And I'm sure most investors who get a 50% gain in a single year would be pretty ecstatic to see their portfolio grow that much. Now, if you guys have been in NIO since the beginning, and since they've been in the teens or even earlier, you've seen these astronomical gains of 1,000% or more. And so a 50% increase in 1 year probably seems pretty small to you. But again, when you compare NIO even just to the S&P 500, they've seen huge gains. And this is a stock that is going to increase into the future, as long as everything goes as planned and they don't go bankrupt or get delisted or something major like that. Because looking at the EV market and where electric vehicles are going to be, there's so much potential for them, not only in China, but across the world, because I'm sure a lot of countries are going to be pushing for electric vehicles and trying to get rid of gas-powered vehicles in the next 10 to 20 years. Because China's already implemented a new regulation that's going to take effect by 2035 to get rid of gas-powered vehicles. And I believe California is doing a very similar thing. And so I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 to 15 years, we don't have gas-powered vehicles. And so like I've said many times before, electric vehicles are going to be the main vehicles on the road. And so these companies that start out early are going to see those huge gains in the future. Now, for those of you who made it this far into the video, let me know what you guys think NIO is going to be trading at by the end of this year and about where you think their share price is going to be. Now, if I'm being more conservative and I'm kind of going along with the analyst predictions, I think they're going to be around 70 to 75, but with a more bullish mindset, I think they could be trading closer to that $100 mark, or maybe even slightly beyond that by the end of the year. Now, of course, there's a lot of people that argue NIO is already way overvalued, trading at about 50 or 60 times their sales. But again, this is also taking into account future growth and where NIO could be at in the future. And where NIO is going to be in the future is going to be huge, and they're going to be one of those top companies most likely. Again, as long as everything goes as planned and we don't see a bunch of negative news for NIO. So again, let me know down in the comments where you think NIO's share price is going to be by the end of this year. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description. And when you sign up and deposit $100, you'll get 4 free stocks now. And if you guys want to join the Discord, we have about 600 members now. So if you guys want to join and learn more about investing, or if you have questions, feel free to join using the link in the description, or you can use the top pinned comment down in the comment section. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one.